Welcome back to Raspo Farmer. This week I have a really fun fall winter make in the works, and this is the pattern I've got planned. It was not the original pattern I wanted, but based on what I have for fabric, it's going to be what I'm going to use. So I'm going to do view A, which is the pencil skirt dress, and that takes, it's going to be like 2 5/8 yards of fabric, and I only have 2.5. So here's hoping I have enough, but I have a plan to help make this stretch. So I got this really incredibly soft cotton flannel at the thrift store. It is so soft. There's only 2.5 yards. I was really hoping it was wool flannel, but I was not that lucky. But it was still really cheap. So there's 2.5 yards, which is slightly less than what I need. Depending on how the pieces are laid out, it shouldn't be a problem. But my other plan is, because this is going to be a cooler weather dress, I want to line the bodice to help give it a little bit more insulation. And this fabric is going to ravel like mad. So by putting a lining in, all those raw edges will be encased. I don't have to worry about them. So this is what I have for lining, something that was in the stash. I am not a huge fan of it, but it's going to be on the inside, so it's not going to be visible. And by lining it, I won't need to do the facings. And the facings are going to be what goes on the inside of like your blouse, so that you don't just have a raw edge hem or anything like that. So that'll buy me a little bit of room, not too much. It's going to depend on how the pattern pieces are laid out, but it'll at least give me a little bit more room. And then I originally planned this to be a dress that had buttons, and I didn't have enough fabric for that to work. I like really big, full, swishy skirts, and 2.5 yards of fabric is just not enough to make that happen, which is why we're going with a pencil skirt. But I had these buttons in the stash that I was going to do when it was going to be a button-up dress. And it's not specifically, it doesn't call for buttons at all, but I was going to hang on to them and see if I still wanted to add them down the front to make it kind of look like it had buttons. So this is going to be to go over a blouse or something, actually at the thrift store. This is a reoccurring theme, me going to a thrift store and buying fabric. I could have worse hobbies. I've got this really pretty rusty red fabric. It's a nice lightweight cotton. I was going to make into a blouse, and it's going to look so gorgeous under this flannel and with the skirt I'm wearing, and I've got so many things it's going to go with that is going to be the make that happens after this dress. So next step is to get the fabric laid out and see about cutting out the fabric. So my original plan was to do view A with the pencil skirt dress, but I laid it out on my fabric and I realized I had so much fabric left that let's just try the fuller version B, because I really like my skirts nice and full, and having to do the pencil skirt was kind of, if I have to, that's what I have fabric for, fine. So I have managed to get both of the skirt pieces. It's a really simple dress. It's a front and a back of a skirt, a front and a back of a bodice, and some facing. And I'm not going to use the facing per se, I'm just going to line it, but I am going to cut out my air facing in the facing shape to help it give it the structure it needs, which probably sounds confusing, but it'll make more sense as I go. So the skirt, I'd like to hurt whoever designed the pattern, because it is that much too wide for my fabric. Not sure who designed it, but they should be spoken to. But if I fold my pattern so it's the same width at the waist, because I can't lose width up there, it won't fit, and taper it in at the bottom until it fits on the fabric, I can still get my nice full skirt and make it fit without weird corners getting lopped off or having to refold the fabric. Because I very carefully have enough for both the skirt and the bodice front and the bodice back, because they both need to go on a fold. So I started sewing on the dress today, and it was actually going really good. The bodice is really simple. It's just a bodice front and a bodice back, and I repeated that because of that lining. That was going really good. Kitty! Kitty walk on dress, thank you. And it was going really good, and the fabric's really good to work with, and I was really happy with it, and I started on the skirt and the pockets. And then we started going downhill. Because my brilliant self did not realize that the fabric has no right and wrong side. Okay, I did realize this, I just poorly executed it. So when I did my pockets, I just slapped them together any old way. You're adorable, but you're in the way. So I had two of the same pockets. They weren't mirror images. And because they are backed with the lining fabric, I couldn't just flip it. So I had to take the one apart and put it back together. And then placing them was proving problematic because I took the skirt in a little bit so it would fit on the fabric. So now the markings are off, and then somehow it was ending up on the seam. So I finally got the pocket sorted out, and I just got the other one fixed. I'm kind of back on track to where I was. And now I need to make that pocket placement match that pocket placement, because I'm happy where that one is. Yes, we pet the kitty. So as soon as I can convince her, hey, that's a claw, that laying on my dress is not a great idea, I can get back to work. What do we think the chances of that happening are? Where's your ball? Where'd it go? Oh, it's over in that corner. Why don't you go get your ball? Why don't you shed some more cat hair on top of everything? And that's probably what's going to happen. Nervous. I'm making good progress on the dress today. I got the dress itself all done, and the zipper was not pretty. We ended up going back and hand stitching a few spots because, first off, I'm really bad at zippers. And second off, I don't have a zipper foot, which probably one does not help the other, but there we are. Next up is to put the lining in, which will take care of my raw edges at the neckline, the armholes, and the waistband. So that should help with that a lot. And then it's going to hang for a few days before I can hem it. I'll probably end up taking a little bit off of the hem. I have discovered my perfect skirt length is just to the point where I don't have to pick it up to walk up and down stairs, because chances are I have something in my hands and stopping to deal with skirts is not going to be an option. So that is my ideal skirt length. I'm going to work on wrangling a lining and hopefully get that part done tonight. I got the dress done. I'm currently working on a blouse that I wanted to model it with, but life happened and I haven't gotten it done yet, and I wanted to get this video up, so I thought I'd try something different, which you'll see in a minute. But I'm really happy with how it came out. It's got these ginormous pockets. They're absolutely massive, but they're big enough for my phone, which is good because I always got my phone with me. And I'm sorry, things need pockets. I have things to put in my pockets. This is partially why I like making my own skirts and dresses, because I can put in ginormous pockets that's big enough to put the cat in, which is always nice. It actually went together pretty good. It feels a little heavy, but I think that's just how heavy the fabric is. It kind of wants to pinch a little bit around the armholes. Not bad. I think part of that is from lining it versus just hemming the edges. that's probably not helping too much with that. The lining was a little difficult to put in. For the neckline, I sewed it right sides together, and then I turned it, well, no. Yeah, it was right sides together. Because I have the right side on the outside, and then the right side is on the inside line. So I put right sides together, and turned out and top stitched it, and from there I had a solid line I could pull against to do my lining. So I hand stitched it at the waistband, on either side of the zipper, and around the armholes. And it didn't really want to go around the armholes, it was being a little stinky. But once I got it pinned, let set a little bit, and then as I sewed I could kind of ease it along. And then I top stitched along my armholes too, which came out a little bit wrinkly, but not too bad. I had problems getting in the zipper, like I always do. Part of it is I don't have a zipper foot for my machine. Most machines you swap out the foot. Mine, the foot is attached and it removes higher up, basically the ankle, for lack of a better term. And I haven't found a zipper foot that will go on like that, so we're making do with the standard foot, which is fine, and people did for ages, but it's not as nice. That's probably where half of my struggles come in. I'm sure the other half is entirely me. I think this is going to be really warm and toasty this winter. We're supposed to get hardware. Some things say it's going to be hardware, some things say it's not. You never know until it gets here, and even if it's not a super hardware, there's still cold days, and I'm one of those people that's forever cold, so I'll be nice and toasty warm. So I went ahead and did a couple of different blouses and sweaters with the dress just to play around with it. I really love how I can layer it with heavier layers or lighter layers depending on the weather and what I'm doing. So if I'm going to be outside all day, I can have boots and leggings and a good thick dress and a blouse and a sweater and be unbelievably toasty. Or today, just doing some stuff in and out, running errands, this dress, some ballet flats, and just a cotton shirt, maybe a jacket, and I'll be good. If you haven't yet, make sure you like and subscribe so you can see next week's make.